Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Grace. Today we are doing comfort food. We are doing whiskey peach meatballs or bourbon barbecue peach meatballs. I love meatballs. If you've been around for a while, you know I have some great meatball recipes. This is a go-to that I like to use every spring. It's got that springy peachy vibe to it. It's great in the summer as well. You can make these in your slow cooker or in the oven. I'm going to make them in the oven today. And I am going to start with about 2 pounds of thawed ground beef. If you want to, you could use some ground turkey as well. And again, this is just kind of approximate 2 pounds. It might be a little more, a little less. We love meatballs in our family. So as you go through this recipe video, guys, I will link to my other meatball recipes up in the top corner there. And I'm going to put all the ingredients and directions in the description below for you. All right, I am going to start with my meatballs, actually. I'm going to crack 1 egg. And we're going to put it right in with the beef. And I am going to get some breadcrumbs. Now, if you don't have breadcrumbs, you could use like saltine crackers, all crushed up. Basically, so the sauce for these meatballs is very saucy. So there's a lot of moisture that's already going to be in there. So the breadcrumbs or crackers just kind of helps keep your meatballs together. And I'm going to sprinkle in maybe about a half a cup, fourth cup to half a cup here. I'm gonna actually mix this together. This is one of those recipes you gotta dive right in, get a little bit gooey here. Got a few pieces finished thawing. There we go, we'll pull these apart. All right, get that egg kind of mixed in there and the breadcrumbs. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands really quick and we're gonna put the sauce together. All right, I'm gonna set that bowl aside and grab a smaller bowl for us to blend our sauce together. I'm gonna start with half a cup of chili sauce, which honestly is it's probably about half the bottle. That's be about good. And then we are going to do a dash of Worcestershire sauce. Say that one 3 times fast. Oop, just a splash there. I'm gonna add in some black pepper. And we're gonna do about a tablespoon of minced garlic. And this is where the good stuff comes in. I'm gonna start with some Kinder's wing sauce. This is actually bourbon peach barbecue flavored, which was kind of ironic. I actually just randomly saw this in the grocery store not long ago. But we're gonna actually, if you can't find this and you don't wanna use it, that's fine, because we are gonna mix together sweet hot pepper jam, peach preserves, and some whiskey to really get that bourbon peach flavor into these meatballs. This is just a bonus perk, and I'm gonna just squeeze some in there. About a half a cup. Now I'm going to grab the sweet hot pepper jelly. Now, if you could find hot pepper peach preserves, that's fine. A little bit hard to find probably in some areas, so I'm just using good old sweet hot pepper jelly. This is the kind of stuff I like to find at like local markets, farmers markets, stuff that's made kind of locally. And we are gonna do about a cup and a half. Honestly, I'm probably going to use my husband really likes hot pepper jelly, so I'm not going to use all of it. This is probably about a cup and a half, guys, of hot pepper jelly. And then I'm going to grab some peach preserves. We're gonna do about a cup or so of the peach preserves. Boy, these are gonna be saucy, but it is so sweet and so good. Now I am going to grab my whiskey, my bourbon. All right, this is good stuff. It is straight bourbon whiskey, and I'm gonna use, okay. Now, we're gonna whisper this because my husband loves good whiskey. Y'all, we're gonna use half a cup. Oh yeah. He's gonna come home and be like, honey, why on earth were you drinking? I don't barely drink, guys. I don't drink too often. I sure don't drink whiskey. Oh, but I love to cook with whiskey. Makes for great sauces. Okay, I've got the lid on there. We're gonna very slowly mix this together. I'm actually using a spoon with some holes in it to kind of get that jelly and preserves mixed together well. What we are gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of this into our meatballs directly. And then we are going to put them into our baking dish and pour the rest of the sauce glaze over the meatballs and let that bake on. I can smell the peaches. It smells so good. Okay, let's grab our big old bowl of ground beef here. And I'm making sure to get some of that jelly here from the sauce bowl. And I put in probably about a cup total of the sauce. I'm gonna grab my baking dish and we are going to mix, and I have sprayed my baking dish. We're gonna mix this in together. I told you this recipe is a bit of a messy hands-on one, but let me tell you, your family will love these meatballs. They are so, so good. Okay, now I'm gonna start making my meatballs. You can make these however big that you want to. And if you feel like your meatballs aren't going to stick together very well, feel free to add some more breadcrumbs into them. You just wanna make sure that you are consistent in the size of the meatballs so that they cook and bake evenly. I like to do kind of bigger ones, unless I'm doing meatball subs, and then I do smaller ones. If you're looking for some other great side dishes to go with meatballs, I've got an amazing Southern crock pot mac and cheese recipe. It is so, so good. It's one of my favorite comfort foods to go to. I've got a whole playlist of side dishes, you guys, that you could make. Potato salad, all sorts of pasta salads, actual salads. You could also totally freeze half this batch of meatballs if you wanted to, and then thaw and bake them at another time. Love meal prep type recipes. That makes those busy weeknights a lot easier. Okay, I'm gonna finish making my meatballs here, and then we'll put the rest of our sauce glaze on top. You can see there's actually pieces of fresh peaches in the peach preserve jar that I picked out, which makes these so sweet when you bite into them. You want to make sure you wash your hands very well after making your meatballs, obviously dealing with raw ground beef. I'm going to grab my bowl of sauce, give it another little mix here, and I'm kind of literally just going to drizzle this right over the top of the meatballs. And my 2 pounds or so of ground beef made 16 large meatballs, so it makes plenty. Oh yeah, these are gonna smell so good when they bake in the oven. I'm gonna bake these at 425 degrees. Now every oven's a little different and depends on the size of your meatballs. I have large meatballs. Mine's probably gonna take about 35 minutes or so, maybe 40. You want to make sure that I always cut into the very middle meatball. Make sure it's thoroughly cooked. When that middle one is cooked all the way through, all of the meatballs are ready to go. I'll show you what these all look like when they're all done baking. I'm going to go work on making a honey lime fruit salad because yum. Here are the bourbon peach meatballs. You can see the pieces of peach in them. It just adds a sweet bite of flavor. They smell heavenly. I cannot wait to eat these tonight. We're gonna do spicy noodles and then a honey lime fruit salad to go with dinner. Thank you all so much for watching this recipe video. Thank you for sharing our recipes with your family and friends. You can find a pin to save this recipe on Pinterest in the description below, and we will see you all next time. Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Grace, you guys. Having a lot of fun in the kitchen this afternoon. We're gonna have a very tasty dinner. We are grilling rosemary garlic steak kebabs with cherry tomatoes and baby potatoes. We're doing a lemony pea rotini pasta salad. I am doing a sugar cookie fruit salad, it's like a fruit, what do you call it? Fruit pizza, there we go. Which is super good. My kids love that sugar cookie. It's got blueberries and strawberries on it and a little Cool Whip. And then we are doing side salad as well, and I'm doing a homemade blue cheese dressing. We'll see how this all goes. There's a lot going on, you guys. I may put this all together in one big make this for dinner kind of video. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I have little steak. I actually diced up a huge steak, I think it was like a flank steak maybe, into smaller bite-sized squares. And then I have had them sitting all day in a Hickory House steak soak marinade. And so these have been sitting for quite a while, soaking in that flavor. But we are going to put together a rosemary garlic dressing to put on the steak when we go to grill it. And we are going to start. I've got myself a bowl here, you guys. Actually, choose a smaller bowl. We are going to start with about 1/2 cup of balsamic vinegar. It doesn't have to be exact, friends, but I am using my measuring cup, and that's close enough to 1/2 cup. Just pour that in there. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of honey, which if you're just gonna squeeze from your honey jar, it's about 2 big dollops. 1, 2, perfect. And then we need about 1 tablespoon of mustard. About 1 tablespoon there. And we need about 1/3 cup of light olive oil. Just gonna use my 1/2 cup here. I'm not gonna fill it all the way, obviously. A little bit more than halfway, there we go. Oh yeah. I'm gonna grab some salt and some pepper. Okay, if you have some peppercorn pepper, always goes great with steak. We're gonna give this a nice little mix. I wanna make sure we blend it all together well. Get that honey and that mustard mixed in really well. Okay, I'm gonna grab my bowl of steak. Now we're not gonna put all of this onto the steak bites. We're gonna save some to brush over the tomatoes, and I'm gonna throw in some onion slices as well. Everybody loves grilled onion. Gonna add probably about 2/3 of our dressing here, and I'm gonna take my steak and kind of push it down, make sure it all gets that flavor. Now hold on. You're like, we forgot the rosemary. I did not forget the rosemary. It's still early spring, and so my herb garden isn't all up to speed yet. And I'm gonna actually just pluck off rosemary here. If you have dried rosemary, that's what you got. That's totally okay, but fresh really adds a lot of flavor. This goes so good with the potatoes and the steak. You all, if you just like, so it's a little dark in here today because it's kind of rainy outside. We have a covered area for us to grill underneath when the weather doesn't cooperate. But if you are needing to ever do air fryer steak, you guys, I have a honey bourbon air fryer steak marinade. It is so good. I will link to that one. Okay, let's do a little bit more. Oh, here's a big bunch of rosemary. And we're actually going to make a different little seasoning for the potatoes, like a little garlicky, salty seasoning with some olive oil, and baste that onto the little baby potatoes. Okay, perfect. Grab my spoon again, and we're going to stir the rosemary in there. And then I'm going to let this sit again for probably about another hour, hour and a half before we grill. So this one does take a little bit of prep work ahead of time, and I'm going to go let this set aside. Together a little bit of a dressing for the potatoes, and I am going to start with some olive oil. Now you're going to want to judge this based off how many potatoes you're going to do. So my skewers are going to be baby potato, tomato, a slice of onion, and 1 or 2 steak bites. So, but you can make your skewers however you want to. I'd say probably about 1/3 cup of olive oil will be just fine. And I have some onion and herb seasoning that I really like to use on potatoes. It just pairs really well. We're just gonna get that on there, slather it on there good. It has onion in it, black pepper, chili pepper, parsley, marjoram, oregano, thyme. It's got a whole lot of stuff in there, so I like to use that. And then I'm gonna grab some garlic salt. And we're just gonna sprinkle that on there too. Okay, I'm grabbing a different spoon, mix this together. Now, let me set that aside real quick. I'm gonna grab a plate. You can do this 2 ways, friends. You can either put your potatoes right on into the bowl and kind of let them soak around in your olive oil dressing, or you can wait until you've put everything together on your skewers and use a little brush and kind of paint your potatoes. I like to go ahead and put them right in there. Makes things a little messy, but you know what? The steak is messy anyways when we're putting the kabobs together, so it's fine by me. Aren't these cute? My daughter just loves little baby potatoes. Okay, that should be enough. And we're gonna just toss this around. Get them all oiled and slathered up. Now, if you are going to do quick grilling, you could actually microwave your potatoes for a few minutes and kind of pre-cook them. We like to kind of use our smoker and do a slow grill style. So our little baby potatoes will be just fine that way. All right, friends, we are going to start putting together our kabobs. And you're going to want to be careful. Sometimes we use the little wooden skewers. I'm using metal ones, and they're really sharp at the end. So please just be careful with the skewers that you are using. And I have my onions. They've also been soaking in there with the steak. Oh yeah, this is going to be delicious. This gets a little messy. Don't be afraid. It's all right to get messy, friends. I'm going to start with a potato. I actually kind of just stab the potatoes like so. And I'm going to grab a piece of steak and an onion and a tomato and repeat. Gonna add in a couple extra pieces of steak on this one. Everybody likes the steak. I'm going ahead and leaving that rosemary on there. Let that grill right on. It'll be so yummy. All right, you guys. I'm gonna finish these skewers. I'll show you what they look like when we're all done. All right, I'm gonna jump over and work on our lemon pea pasta and get our fruit pizza dessert started. I'm gonna let my husband keep putting these onto the skewers. And he's gonna get that grill fired up. I will take a picture or a quick video when they're all done so you can see what they look like. They're gonna smell phenomenal. This is one of our favorite grilling recipes, you guys. You're gonna want to try it. Your family will love it. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Be sure to subscribe so you get notified every time we have a new recipe up for you. And we're also on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook in the Kitchen with Grace. And we'll see you guys next time. Welcome to In the Kitchen with Grace. Tonight for supper, we are doing an easy, almost completely dump it, bake it style dinner. We are doing cheesy ravioli spinach bake. So simple. I have my bag of cheese ravioli. It has been cooking for about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and drain this, and we're going to simmer up some spinach here. Saute, I should say. I am going to go ahead and drain this, and then I'm going to put a little bit of the sauce, spinach in. We're going to saute up a little bit of that spinach and cook it down. All right, I am going to grab my jar of pasta sauce, and my pan is already hot, and I'm not going to add in all of the sauce yet. I'm going to add just enough to kind of cover the bottom of my pan, like so. I happen to be using a roasted garlic spaghetti sauce. Use whatever flavor you want. And I'm going to add in some spinach. I'm doing like 3 big handfuls of spinach. This is going to cook down. I'm going to put all of the ingredients and directions in the description below. Be sure to subscribe, friends, so you can be notified every time we have a new recipe video up. I absolutely love to make your meal planning busy weeknights easier. We've got so many easy dinner recipes. I feel like adding spinach into this ravioli bake helps sneak in those veggies, those greens. Neither one of my kids are a little on the picky side. Neither one of them are big salad fans, and spinach is so healthy. So I'm going to sneak it in, and they actually quite enjoy this recipe. I'm going to add a little bit more of the spaghetti sauce. I am cooking this on medium heat. I already have garlic in this pasta sauce. If you're using a sauce that does not have garlic, feel free to add in a tablespoon of minced garlic and let that cook up with your spinach. If your kids happen to like spinach, your family loves spinach, I have a winter gorgonzola spinach salad with some candied pecans in it, and it is so good. It is like my favorite salad to eat. I will link to that recipe above. We're going to let this cook down for another minute or so. Spinach to sizzle down. I'm going to go ahead and add my cheese ravioli to my baking dish. And I'm going to add in 1 handful of shredded mozzarella. We're going to let that start melting right away. I happen to be sipping on a Rosemary Tang rum cooler It's a gorgeous day. We're gonna get outside tonight, so I wanted dinner to be something quick and easy where I'm not spending much time in the kitchen. I'm gonna do some planting and some yard work, get the kids out on their bikes. We're talking for a very easy and relaxing, much needed evening. All right, you can see that my spinach has cooked down very nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of pour it over the top of my cheese ravioli. I'm gonna grab the rest of my spaghetti sauce here. If your family likes olives or zucchini or maybe yellow squash, you could totally, definitely put those in this recipe as well. I'm gonna go ahead and just mix this together, get that spinach mixed in. All right, we are gonna grab another handful or so of shredded mozzarella, probably about a cup total here. Add extra cheese if you would like to, but since there's already cheese in the ravioli instead of meat, I'm going a little light on the cheese on top. We're gonna sprinkle some Parmesan onto the top as well. And we're gonna bake this in the oven at 350 degrees until the cheese on top is nice, warm, and bubbly. Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Grace. Today we're doing another really easy family favorite slow cooker chicken dinner. We're doing brown sugar garlic chicken. I have got 3 chicken breasts in my slow cooker, and I put a little bit of water in the bottom, and basically this is like a 3-ingredient recipe. You need your chicken, your brown sugar, and your minced garlic. I am going to start by putting about 2 tablespoons of garlic into my bowl. 2, close enough. And then we are going to put in about a 1/3 cup or so of brown sugar. I say about because it depends. That's probably more like a 1/2 cup for mine. Depends how much chicken you have in there. You want to make sure you got enough brown sugar coating that will cover all of your chicken. We are going to put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to kind of mix this together. We kind of want to work your garlic in, get any lumps out of your brown sugar. Okay, we're gonna grab just a dash of butter. You're gonna add in just a little bit of maple syrup, maybe a 1/4 cup or so. You don't need a whole lot. Mix that in. So it makes kind of like a brown sugar paste. And then we are going to just kind of use our spoon and press it onto our chicken. You kind of want to baste it on to your chicken there. And then as it heats, it will melt and cover the rest of your chicken. And then we're going to cook this on low. I am cooking it on low for about 3 to 3.5 hours today. If you need to cook it on high, just keep an eye on it. You want to make sure your chicken's thoroughly cooked. Every slow cooker is a little bit different. I have a newer one and it cooks pretty quick compared to my old slow cooker. We're going to pair this tonight with some broccoli salad, a blueberry cinnamon roll cake for dessert. We've been eating that for dessert this week. I will try to remember to link to that recipe, and I will show you what this all looks like when it's all finished cooking.